Good evening, welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in. A little bit of a late start. Y'all know we start at 7:05. We're on Baltimore People time. Quita is on vacation at an undisclosed destination, but she's getting some well-earned rest. My name is Chad. We're going to talk tonight with Officer Lee, or retired Officer Lee. Sorry, it's Chuck. We call you
It's
Chuck
all
tonight.
right.
So Chuck is a primary organizer for a back-to-school battle of the bands that we are organizing down at the Inner Harbor on Saturday the 20th from 11 to 5. So Chuck, man, just introduce yourself, maybe give us a little background of what you've been doing and what we plan to do this weekend.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone, and good evening, you too, chat. Yeah, I am Charles Lee, retired city police officer. And also, I like to give shout out to my partner, Evan Anderson, who's not on the air, but definitely can't leave my partner out. So what we're doing this year, we doing a back to school battle of the bands at the Inner Harbor this year down at Ratchfield. Normally we would do it on Pennsylvania Avenue between the Lawrence and Pennsylvania and have the marching bands come down Pennsylvania Avenue. But this year we wanted to put it on a broader stage and have everyone to be a part and see what we do in West Baltimore. And what we're doing by this, we want the tourists, we want the attractions, everybody who normally come down to participate downtown and see the ship, see all the great stores down at the Inner Harbor, and also that evening we got a baseball game, so let them get a chance to see what we do on a yearly basis. And some of the things we'll be doing this year, as I stated before, the back to school battle of the bands, where we have bands across the city coming out to have fun, coming out to battle, coming out just to show the pride that they have, within their bands and all that other good stuff, to come out and like I said, let everyone see what they do on a daily basis. We'll be doing a back to school giveaway, first come, first serve. We'll have drummers there. I mean, we have face painting. We have a three free throw shooting or 3-point shooting contest. We'll have different. Exactly, absolutely. We're gonna have so much, and even voting registration, expungement. I mean, so much is going on, and the great thing about it is free. It's free. The F word, free. So
Yep. Free
we
99, as Quita would say. Free 99.
absolutely, absolutely. So we look forward to, as I stated before, to put this on a bigger stage, stage like I said, where everyone can see. Not just West Baltimore, the whole Baltimore city, and anyone that choose to come out.
So we're gonna have Lewis on in a little bit, talking about the festival side, but I want to have you talk more about the parade side. So,
Mhm.
you know, who did we go to, and why did we go to them for the parade? Like, there's different organizations that do stuff. We could have gone to like Coppin or Morgan or University of Maryland. They
Right.
have marching bands, right? Like, so where are our bands from? Who are they, and why are they at this event? Why is it important
Well,
they're at this event?
exactly. If anyone know anything about the history of Baltimore, the marching bands play a great and huge part of the city. We have different events, not only with us, but different other events in the city, such as the Cadillac Parade. We have different community events where the marching band, they normally start these events off. Not only, when we started, but way years before we, even entered the scene. The marching bands is a part of the fabric of Baltimore City. I mean,
1946.
absolutely, absolutely. You have bands like the Go Getters, who's been around for almost 30 some years. Mass Destruction. I mean, it's so many bands out here in the city. The Twilighters. I mean, I can go on and on that participate in these various events. And like I said,
Look,
this is the
let me
fabric.
pause you there, man. Let me pause you. Let me give everybody a shout out for all the bands that are already locked in, and we got more coming. We like Chuck said, we got the Go Getters, we got Mass Destruction, Twilighters, the Band Marching Unit, Dynasty Marching Unit, Extravaganza Marching Unit, Epic
Mhm.
Premier Marching Unit, and the Baltimore All Stars Marching Unit are confirmed going to be there. So they bring in, and they draw on their community out. Like, one of the things that's
Absolutely.
important to me, Chuck, we got the back to school stuff, and we have on the festival side some really amazing resources, right? And these are community groups. These are not government agencies or not city agencies. These are community groups, people like ourselves who are out here doing the work, right? So, a lot of times we get discouraged or we don't understand the process working through the city agencies and resources available. That's okay. They'll always be available. But these are people
Right.
that are in the moment now. in the season, like really cleaning up the city, really helping people do real things. And we're just excited to connect you guys with resources you didn't know you had. Like Chuck said, there's legal services for free for people in the community, and the only requirement to access this is to be an ex-offender. What? We have a young lady who, like, she's like a damage control person, man. If you have like anything housing, Yolanda Pulley with like people empowered by the struggle, like any kind of housing stuff, like we call her Pulley the Bulliest, and it's all love because she'll take what you're going through and she'll fix it. She holds people accountable, makes them do their job. Um, we failed to mention though, like I said, Lewis will talk a little more, but we're gonna have a car show at the festival. We're gonna have a kids zone. If you bring the kids out, make sure they're wearing wet gear because we had, bathing suits. We had a big water slide, some other stuff. But back to the bands, man. Back to the bands. Like you were talking about, this morning we were talking with Ramblin' Rose, Miss Rosa Pryor, and she is a very well known and established music, arts, and entertainment historian for Baltimore. And we can't wait to get her on the show and talk about why this Baltimore heritage is so important, right? Why, like, and explain that Baltimore, Pennsy Ave specifically in Baltimore, was the
Hmm.
soul of America when it came to
Exactly.
20th century music evolving. It was the heart
Hmm.
and soul of everything that was happening from
Yeah.
even beginning back in 1908, and then when they started calling Pennsy Ave the Avenue, and then in
Yeah.
1926 when they opened up the first club, right? Like, or was it 23? But she has all that history, man, and it's really people. If you're not from here, you don't know just the beautiful culture that deserves celebrated, right? Like celebrating it intentionally and saying like showing off like just the artistic talent that we have. Like I can't even find words for it because the people in the city are so talented, and you always have a hard time in your own home village, right? Even
That's
Jesus,
true.
like the Bible teaches us, like Jesus got a hard time where he was from, right?
That's right.
And it shouldn't be like that, man. We need to celebrate our people. We need to, one of the other things, and I'll let you get back to the parade, man. One of the things that was important to me while organizing this, from my perspective and my angle to doing this, is that we serve Chuck. We serve a lot of different demographics in the city, from undocumented people, aging citizens, addicts, ex-offenders, and people that aren't, don't necessarily have a marginalized origin, but they're struggling. We help everybody, right? And I've aged in my aging citizens that I serve. I discovered that there's people like decades older than me that live blocks from the Inner Harbor, grew up blocks from the Inner Harbor, never been to the Inner Harbor because they've never felt welcome because of the color of their skin or because of their economic situation, or they don't want to go down to the harbor and get profiled or treated a certain way, or they, in their mind, even if that's not the case, they feel like they will. So it was important to
Hmm.
me to celebrate the neighborhood brands and draw the neighborhood out to enjoy a beautiful space in Baltimore that we don't usually get to celebrate and enjoy. Usually, the city always wants to push us to enjoy Druid Hill Park. Okay, maybe we want to enjoy the harbor, bro. You know, so this is a beautiful thing having access to the harbor and really bringing the communities out, man.
Absolutely. Just to add on, and to jump on the bandwagon. I believe this is a great opportunity for the bands to get the exposure. Like I said, we always most times do it in West Baltimore, but this is a time where they can come down the harbor where everyone can see them. You have all walks of life that come through in the harbor, and I guarantee you they will enjoy the bands. They will enjoy the music. You have all types of. You have the young, you have the old. You have some kids as young as 5 and 6 in marching bands. Some members as old as 45 and up in some bands, and these bands are for all ages, and they just want to get out there and show that, hey, we're a part of Baltimore. This is what we do. This is that's want to show everyone that, hey, we can have fun. We can do things the right way without negative publicity. And
Absolutely.
they've been wanting to do this for years. So this is a grand opportunity, as I stated before, that they can get out here and have fun. We all can have fun and enjoy not only the band but all the festivities that's going on around the Battle of the Marching Bands.
Yeah, one thing people don't see because people don't go to the Avenue anymore because of the situation that the culture that's evolved there now. People feel unsafe or they don't want to go. Is that when we do this parade? when you and Ab do this parade, and shout out to Donnie Glover for being the catalyst for this event and the previous events that on Pensy Ave and giving us this platform to share with you, man. Um, when we do the parade, there is a piece on that neighborhood that sticks. It's tangible and it sticks for a couple of days. There's no parade and then any kind of violence or any kind of major incidents, man, because like you're pouring love into that community and people don't get to see that. They don't get to see you walking down the avenue from North Avenue to Dolphin and seeing all the smiles and the babies picking up
Absolutely.
sticks, drumming on the fence, and people just like gathering peacefully and celebrating
Hmm.
themselves. Like how often do we, as advocates and organizers in the community, as a police officer and first responder, we're trained to celebrate ourselves, right, and to do self-care. But for a community that isn't getting that information, at least for a day, they're celebrating themselves and each other, and it's like it's the truth, man. Like it really matters, right? So
Absolutely. 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 Like you said, I mean, it's phenomenal. As you stated, you have people that been following the bands for years. I've had people that, retired from the bands that come up to say, hey, we know you the guys that put on these parades every year. When can you guys do another one? When you guys want to put it on a bigger stage,
so
So
I
they
was I
actually
was I was gonna say, like, well, to your point, I was sharing with this dude in DC, right, about this event on Pensy Ave, and I had to explain Pensy Ave, Baltimore. And he was like, dude, I was with the West Side Steppers like X amount of decades ago. And I'm like, wow. He's like, bro, I'll be there. People are excited and people like it's a long standing tradition. And I didn't even
absolutely.
know how old it was, man. I had old heads coming to me excited, like, yeah, I used to be this and that. And I'm like, man, come celebrate the new generation, man.
That's right.
So real quick, there was a question. What time did the band start?
The marching parade will start off and kick off at 11 a.m. Our
Come on,
bands,
man. We on
will
Baltimore
not.
people time. We on Baltimore people time. Adjust that.
11 a.m. We want to be on time. We want to be prompt on Saturday. 11 a.m. and it ends at 5 p.m. I just look forward to it. It's an enjoyable time. It's the time like these bands have a huge following. Believe it or not. I mean, this is huge in Baltimore. I mean, people follow the marching bands. It's
Yeah.
a huge thing. And like I said before, I look forward to having a grand time on Saturday. I look forward to everyone. And I invite everyone who, can hear me, can see me, encourage, bring your community out. Let the kids come out and see,
Yeah.
you know, what they do. That
Let me and let
inspires
me
the
let me
kids. And.
yeah, let me speak to that, man. And real quick, your comment, bands
Sure.
start promptly. No, no, we do not. We intend to start at 11. Which we got to follow as we're led by the spirit. And sometimes the spirit says, slow down. We got somebody that's got to see it. They not here yet. You never know.
Right, right,
You know,
right.
but when I was doing some research and stuff, just and making sure we do this thing right, I found that Baltimore was actually nationally known for our marching band culture among the marching band culture. Like I'm looking
Wow.
up like hashtags and stuff like "Be More Marching Bands," Baltimore, this and that, and there's bands from like Birmingham, Alabama, and New York who are like posting and acknowledging our culture, man. So like really, like,
Mhm.
and I find a lot of that, man, in the DMV. Like, no matter what culture or arena you're addressing, whether it's like gaming or it's music or art or entertainment, like we are well known for so much more than what the media pushes out and the narrative they push out.
Exactly.
Like we have some of the most elite. It sounds silly, like we have some of the most elite video game competitors in the world. Like people come from Japan
Right.
to challenge our kids. Our dirt bike, man, like some guy from like overseas, over east, paid like $20,000 to ride with the 12 o'clock boys. Like we have so
Wow.
much talent and culture, and sometimes that culture gets out of context, and it's just our job as elders in the community to redirect people in the right context. But like, our boxing rings are famous, man. Our dirt bike boys are famous, like them or not. Our marching band units are known, man. And it's
Hmm.
sad that people in Baltimore don't know, but people
Right.
in Birmingham, Alabama know. Like, come on, man. So that's part of the
Absolutely.
purpose, man. Put them,
Absolutely.
put them on at the Inner Harbor.
Yeah.
Let our voice be heard. Let us share our truth. Let us express ourselves in a different way than just violence. Because if you don't have the
Absolutely.
opportunities to perform, right? Like part of the problem in the schools, we take the art out of the Baltimore City schools. Like I went to music class every day. I had to be in choir. I had to sing. I had to learn instruments. I had to do art every day as a kid. But it gave me an outlet to express myself. And when we take these things out of school,
Right.
then how are our children expressing themselves? Sometimes, if they don't have extracurricular activities, if their parents don't have a capacity to support something extra, sometimes it looks
Mhm.
like violence, right?
That's right.
But
That's right.
want to lose things is like, how do you? I ain't never heard of nobody, enacting violence on another person with a snowball in their hand, right? You know, so it's
Yeah.
it's just a fantastic way to deliver hope and inspire people in the community. It's great. It's a great. The Inner Harbor is great because you're going to have, like you said, the tourists are coming through. People coming through for the ball game are going to see a side of Baltimore that we see every day. The beautiful
Right.
side of Baltimore. That's like that's it's just if you understood how it really was out here, besides what you hear, then you'd be
Right.
like, oh man, you wouldn't be, you fall in love with Baltimore, man. There's so much love.
Absolutely. As you stated, man, a lot of great things come out of Baltimore. I mean, quiet as it kept. I mean, I know we get some not so good publicity, but on the reverse side, you got Drew Hill that come out of Baltimore. You
Bro,
know,
Woody, I was look, Woody hit me up. Woody hit me up Saturday night. Woody came out to see
you
Lavelle
go.
Crawford, and he hit me up. He's like, "Yo, Chad, let me get your number. We're performing down in
Mhm.
Atlanta that weekend." But like, they were down with it. They're like, "Bro, we need more of this."
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. Like I said, sometimes you got to leave Baltimore to come back, but it's a lot of great talent that come through Baltimore, that come out of Baltimore. I mean, we're just so talented in so many facets, and that I just look forward to, like I said, to see the bands and everyone come out and enjoy themselves on Saturday.
And look, it's a random thought, right? But like last night, me and the wife was bored with all the streaming stuff that's available, right? So we kicked back, and we watched some old A Team, some old Knight Rider, right?
Wow.
So, and I mentioned both of those shows. We were watching some old stuff. So David Hasselhoff's from
There
Baltimore,
you
Knight
go.
Rider,
From
right?
Baltimore.
The
Absolutely.
crazy white boy Murdoch who annoyed Mr. T every episode on the A Team. He's from Baltimore, went to Towson State,
Absolutely. A
right? So
lot of
like,
people don't know. Yeah,
right, they got
exactly.
this really great,
Yeah.
weird little stuff, man. Like
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Baltimore permeates everything, man. Like every form of entertainment. Like I'll tell you, just
Yeah.
being like a white boy from Northeast Baltimore this past year, I was able to work with HBO Max while I filmed We Own the City, right?
Hmm.
Last week I was filming in DC for Rustin, recreating
Right.
the March on Washington and Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech. We recreated some scenes. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I said it. And then next week they're filming. It's really cool too. So there's a movie called Lady in the Lake, and it's about in 1969 when they found a black female who was drowned, or the body found a body in the lake. And at the same time, there was another incident with a white woman that was similar, congruent. And the differences, it's about the differences in the way the police treated each case, right?
Right. Right.
And so it's like all these things in Baltimore were historically significant, right? And Baltimore, to all my DC people in the '90s, DC was Chocolate City, but Baltimore is
Yep.
Chocolate City, man. And we really, we set as a city, as a people and a culture, we set the tone for the rest of the nation. People don't understand. Like Baltimore has so much leverage in our world and in our nation, man. And it's just real
Right.
important that we make sure people see the love because we need to
Yeah.
leverage that love, man.
Absolutely. And I can't leave out my man Mario. He's from Baltimore.
That's right. That's right.
Another one. Can sing his butt off, man. So, I mean, it's a very talented city.
And
We
look,
have a lot.
go old school on you, Mesa Leak.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
sang with
Yes.
name it lose me right now, but she's amazing singer, man.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep. Yeah, man. It's a lot of talent here. A lot of talent that
so
comes out of Baltimore.
let me ask you something, man, because we got everything set in place. We've got a real good foundation, and
Mhm.
at this point everything is going well for the parade. But one thing I want to share, and maybe you can speak to it as well, is that well, I'll just say it, like we have organized this entire event down at the Inner Harbor at great sacrifice to our time and our finance. Like, there was so when you guys come down, I just in the least I need you to appreciate when you see what you see and you see the beauty that Baltimore comes together and puts together on Saturday. Understand that it is all generosity of the community. The community, everybody came together and donated. You know, the The groups that are there, they're there offering free services. The
Right.
marching bands are there, not asking for money to perform, even though they deserve to be well paid. Or they practice daily with the band, and then you practice at home when you're not practicing with the band, and they're
Right.
ready to go. Like if I called a band right now, said let's do something tomorrow, they're ready to go. That
Man.
has value, right? And the art and the thing that they do has value. So the fact that we're able to put this together without any kind of budget is really part of the beauty of Baltimore, man. Is how we all like we find unity through diversity, right? We stand in the
That's
gap for
right.
each other, and the way that we all come together for this event. We even have splashed in the parade some of my Latino familia from down in like Southeast Baltimore. They're going to have some dancers, some traditional dancers in there. They're going to have some services serving like a marginalized community that is like the Latino community who's some of them are undocumented. And so we're going to have something for everybody there, it's just really, you're going to see a great, it's just going to be so great. Like so many different people coming together, me being perceived as white and celebrating a black culture and celebrating the Latino community and like, just having everybody out together in one place, celebrating peacefully. Like, I'm so excited, man. Welcome, Lewis,
Dude.
president of PowerFest Baltimore. So my man is organizing the stage. He's organizing the festival grounds, which the parade will lead us all to. What's good, Lewis?
Everything is good. I was a little bit confused when I got on here, and maybe you can help clear it up. I didn't know you were white.
Hey, I am whatever you say I am. If it wasn't, why would you say I am? Little Eminem there for Donnie. He likes to call me Eminem. So yeah, man. No, I am. You know what's funny, man? Like when we really get down to it, all of us, when we really get down to it, and we research as we learn, as we mature spiritually, we learn to respect our ancestors and learn about our true heritage. We find that, in my research for my life, my personal life, I found that I'm Native. I found that I have North African roots. I found that I've had West African roots, but I also have German and British roots and Romanian roots. Like when I get down to it and I follow my family line and my history, like, and all I can say is I'm American, man. I'm born here. I'm indigenous here, but I also have Native American in me. But like I have all these other heritage and ancestries that make up my DNA, man. So it's like that's what I love about being me and being in Baltimore is like that we find so much unity through our diversity, right? It's just like I can't say it enough, man. Like we don't all conform and look the same because if we did that, we just create one straight line. But we create a circle because everybody's different and we all come together. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Hey,
what's
man,
going on
I'm just messing with you but you got one of the biggest hearts. It's funny. I'm glad to be on this show with two guys with two of the biggest hearts. Chuck over there, Officer Chuck Lee and Chap and Quita.
Hey, look, hold on. Let me correct Mr. Haney, sir. Look, all that is good within me, it comes from God. Let's continue.
Amen. Well, he's using you well. One of the biggest hearts I've ever seen. But yeah, man, I'm here to rap. Whenever I'm jumping in. I came in late. I apologize. We had a PowerFest meeting, but I'm here. Just use me as you will.
So Lou, we're just sharing about kind of the intent of the parade, man, and we're just really excited to be able to have this opportunity to showcase our very talented and very energetic entertainers in our city on a big platform like the Harbor, man. We got people coming in from out of town for the ball game. We always have people coming in from out of town just to visit the Harbor and do business, and a very eclectic group that normally are at the Harbor, and we're going to engage them with members of the community, and it's just going to be a really great melting pot. But what is the PowerFest Festival? What's going on once the parade leads us around the Harbor and they're showing out and they're giving us all this good energy and they're going to bring us to Rash Field? What's going on when they get there?
So let me give you guys a quick background real quick about PowerFest. PowerFest it's a festival, and this festival is all about bringing together all the good people in a city, whether it be Orlando or Atlanta or Philly or Baltimore, to bring a bunch of good people together that are trying to help us community and bring them in a festival atmosphere so people can come have fun, but then be connected to those people who are doing the great things in the community, like Chuck, like Chap, like Quita, like Donnie. And we had everything set to do PowerFest right before COVID hit. All the permits were done. COVID hit, shut us down. And it's just been really hard to get our wheels turning ever since. And then I had an opportunity to meet Officer Chuck Lee, Big E, who's been a very big contributor to PowerFest, Donnie, who's been an amazing person in the community. And these gentlemen were already working on having this parade. They were like, hey, let's partner up. So I am blessed to be able to be a part of what's happening with the Battle of the Bands parade. And when the parade ends, what PowerFest is going to do is we're going to put on a great festival at the end of the parade at Rash Field, where the volleyball nets are. This festival, the way it's set up is, and Chap, you know, we have realized that a lot of people who need resources don't know how to find the resources. And a lot of times they may not be connected to certain things that will get them to the resources. But if we give them some fun, like food trucks, like a car show, like a 3-point shootout, like a kid zone, all kinds of entertainment on a stage and a parade, people will show up. When they get there, we're going to have so many resources, places where people to get their background checks expunged if they have anything negative on their background, free health screening, opportunities to be able to buy homes, opportunities for jobs, and etc. So many different opportunities are going to be out there. Healthcare, mental health care, which is a big thing in the African American community that we kind of ignore at times. There are going to be opportunities for that. The law truck, the Spectre law truck is going to be out there, and people are going to be able to go in there and get free advice, legal advice. And he's doing expungements himself as well. So great opportunity, but the fun part is going to be coming down there to have fun, and then you'll come away with some things that'll help you. My biggest point that I want to make is, I think last weekend, 15 people got shot in Baltimore City. And I think out of the 15 people, 6 people died.
16 in the last 3 days.
It's craziness. But I believe that a lot of the crime is because of hopelessness. So you give somebody a little bit of hope, and it could change their life. Can I just share something about myself personally?
Please.
So for me, I used to be one of those OG 12 o'clock boys on the streets, running from the police, running from the helicopter. I probably can't beat the new helicopter, but the old Foxtrot, Chuck, you remember the old Foxtrot? I could beat that one on the bike. But actually, I was a menace to Baltimore City, a menace to society. And to be honest with you, when I would get on my bike, I didn't care if I lived or died. To be honest with you, I was just out there. And when somebody got a hold of me and explained to me about business and about, hey, you can take this talent that you have and turn it into a skill that can bring money. I got into professional racing, and you would think, well, it's just racing, but it changed everything about my life. It made me a better father. It made me a better husband. It made me a better son to my parents. It made me a better person in the community. And it made me who I am today to be able to be with what I am with PowerFest. It made me, I started going to church, and I got saved, and all these things came from me finding out that I was worth more than just running around the streets, running from the police. So my point being is that when people come to PowerFest to have a good time, just like I went to the track to have a good time, you're going to find some things that can make you feel better about yourself, and that gets you away from hopelessness. And when you get away from hopelessness, then life is just not just a matter of pulling the trigger. Now life has got a lot more at stake. So PowerFest is going to be bigger than people can imagine. And that's why we did actually a prayer walk last week. And we walked the parade route to pray that people, when they come, that they will receive the things they need to receive to make them better people inside and out. And I think that would make Baltimore a better place.
Man, that's the word there, man. I tell you, part of what I'm hearing when you were talking about that is that it's all about context. We've talked about this a lot, right? It's all about context. Where me and Officer Anderson, the other organizer here, was we're talking about it tonight. How, like, we got boys who like to fight, get criminalized for it. They get kicked out of school, right? Put them in the boxing ring, they're $1 million baby, right? You on the bike, man. And all that goes along with that culture. It's not just about you're breaking the law, speeding, and we don't have to go into that. But if you're out there on the bike, you know what Lewis knows, right? And so, put in the proper context, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were the first African-American dude in Daytona racing professionally.
On a motorcycle.
On a motorcycle.
It's the first motorcycle, okay. Yes.
That's what I'll make sure I get it right. But yeah, but that's
yes.
significant, right? Because had you not been put in the proper context, you'd be dead right now.
100%. Right?
And so like me and Ev were joking, right? So the other organizer, Ev, who's not here right now, I've known him, and I dare say almost 40 years, man. We grew up together. We shared everything but the bath water, and we probably shared the bath water too, but I'm not admitting to that. No homo. It's all love, man. But what I'm saying is, like, we were the class disruptors. We were the class clowns. We're the ones getting suspended and in detention. And what we realized as we evolved and matured spiritually and evolved in the community, what we realized is that there was nothing wrong with us, even though we were getting criminalized for it in the context of the institution of public school, was that out here in the community, especially in Baltimore City, as an organizer and an advocate, you need to be a disruptor, right? You need to be a fighter. You need to be able to, Ev's like he's like my bulletproof vest, man. Like, I'm out here wilding out, disrupting shit, and he's getting beat up, pardon my language, and he's getting beat up for it. You know what I mean? But like, we tag team, and it's just the same concept, is that, like, kids today, as we're mentoring them and we're and there's gonna be a lot of great opportunities when we bring the kids out to the event this weekend. Great opportunities to plug in with some really great groups. There's Cody's Cave, there's Level Up, there's a ton of mentorship programs that some of them, they just hang out with the kids, man, and you just surround yourself with different people. I am what I am today because I surround myself with positive men of action, men of truth, men of honor and honesty, and that's Lewis and Chuck and Anderson. Man of integrity. Like, you become what you hang out around, right? So it's so important to get the kids plugged into people that are doing something different, people that, and as we mentor the kids, acknowledging that, like, what you're doing might be annoying to me, but let's see how God uses that as you grow, and just make sure we put them in contexts where they can be successful and not criminalized for what their character is showing in their youth.
Amen. Man, y'all get ready to get me on my soapbox, because
come on, man.
We talk
about minutes. Let's soapbox it up.
We're talking about criminalizing things that are talent. We can't that's if you go to our website, powerfestbaltimore.org, and you click on the motorsports page, that's the quote, you can't criminalize good talent. And it blows my mind that every year you got young men that are on these dirt bikes, illegal on the street, because they just don't know where else to go.
Like them or not,
they're being locked up, right? And right down at the arena for doing the exact same thing. People are paying $20 a kid to go watch the same thing that's happening on the street that they're getting locked up for. Make that make sense to me. So you understand what I'm saying? So it's people literally getting paid at the arena, right outside, right inside of where somebody outside is getting locked up for riding a dirt bike, and they're in the arena doing stunts and getting paid for doing this, millions. And so my point being is that instead of criminalizing it, we have to redirect people and give them opportunities to do it. And I've been told many, many, many times, oh no, they just want to run the streets and do this, and they want to sell drugs, they want to do this. Hey, they're criminals in the NFL.
Nobody wants to do that. You don't just be born and be like, I want to do that.
Right. Well, there's criminals in every sport. Nobody talks about the fact that there's criminals in the NFL. There's criminals in the NBA. There's a criminal in the WNBA. But my point being is that there are going to be some bad guys on these dirt bikes. But trust me, these boys and these young girls who are so talented are on this thing for the love for the sport. But because it's like putting if a tiger's out in the wild and he's running around, it's beautiful. But if you let a tiger go in the city, he's going to be tearing some stuff up. We just need to redirect the people in the right direction. And I'm just excited about, the fact that Donnie has made this opportunity for us to be on here and talk about these types of things is the beginning, the start. That we have to be able to start opening doors and showing people the levels that they can go to, because everybody can't be a doctor. Everybody can't be a lawyer. Everybody can't go to college. And when I say everybody can do what they want to do, but what if you don't want to do it? My parents were educators. My mother was a Baltimore City teacher. my father was an Anne Arundel County school principal. I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to ride a bike. I wanted to ride a dirt bike. But even in my own home, I was ridiculed for that. It was too blue collar. It was like, oh, you'll never make it. And the point being is that we have to give our young people opportunities. If they're artists, some people are just artists. They want to paint. They're graffitiing walls in the city, but they're artists. We need to direct them into the right direction. And I love what you guys are doing. You know, Chuck with the parade. I watched those children walk down march down Pennsylvania Avenue in the pouring rain. This last parade y'all had for the end of school parade that you guys had, and those children were excited. There was no violence. The other groups clapped for each other. The children were they were rock stars.
Yep.
That's what they do. All right, I'm stepping down off my
all right, yeah. So Chuck, man, look. I had a question for you while you got you, man. Because you know it's a privilege to have you on the show, man. And I want to talk about some other things you got going on. So I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, you know, you're working on a for-profit organization. You're looking on a nonprofit organization. What's going on over there?
Well, a couple things, man. I definitely, you know, I love the youth in Baltimore, and I'm working on some things right now to re-enter and help our youth out. That's like Lewis said. You gotta change the mindset. You gotta change the trajectory, you know, of the positive part, you know, of their lives. You know, the things that they're doing that they get in trouble for. You know, you got to present, hey, it's another way to do this without getting in trouble. You know, the biggest thing is our kids need an outlet. They don't have an outlet, and I'm definitely working on setting up some things just to give them an outlet. You know, it's normal for them to hear and see the violence that carries out every day, but I want them to get out of the mindset this is not normal. But what they see is normal to them. But we understand as adults that this is not normal. You know, to hear that 8-round shots ring out every day. Oh, that's gunshots. You know, we have to change our direction with our youth, and I believe we got to get them while they're young. If you wait too late, they'll get caught up in the streets. They'll get caught up with the gangs. They'll get caught up selling drugs and so many things out there that are negative that will ruin their lives. So my thing is I'm trying to catch them while they're young, trying to catch them where, you know, I still have some influence as a positive individual. You know, you have to meet them right where they are and also tell them, hey, I know where you are, but, you know, you can do better. We can do better together. And I just want to lead those things and help them to do better. You know, when you don't know to do, you know, you're going to do stuff that, hey, it's not right. So you give them an opportunity. You give them an opportunity to be themselves. You also give them an opportunity to grow also. You know, and that's what we need. We need our youth to grow and grow the right way. I mean, so much is going against you. You hear a lot of negative things about our youth. And I often tell them when you do good things, let me know. I like to highlight it because, you know, if it don't bleed, it don't lead. And I tell you, look at the news every day. It's evident. You know, we have a lot of dynamic youth in Baltimore City that don't get the publicity. You know, that they go to school and make the good grades. SAT scores are great, going to great colleges and universities, doing great things in their neighborhood, mentoring in their neighborhood, trying to make, you know, the best out of what they have. We don't, it's not being.
Let me pause you, Ben. Let me pause you because Chuck speaks to authority or with authority to that point because these are the kids that we invest in.
Mm-hmm.
We know that they're doing this because we've invested in them. We've seen them. We've seen them go on to scholarships. Like one of our boys from down Tunbridge got a scholarship and trained for the Olympics at LSU. He's from Tunbridge, New York Road, right? When you know, one of our boys we invest in scholarship to Coppin State. 19 years old, published author. 20 years old, certified 501c mentorship program. Took 40 kids out camping this weekend from the hood. Took them out to Tapsico. Like we see this because our hands are on these lives, man. So that's why it matters what we do. And so I just want to make a point that this isn't just like in theory or this is how it should work. This is how it is working.
Right.
And so when you see us out here doing the work, when you see Lou, when you see Ev, when you see Chuck, when you see Quita, when you see you know, Janet Arce, and when you see like all these different people in the community doing stuff, you can support them by donating your time. But you can support them by donating money. We always need money. We always are out of pocket because that's what it takes. We do whatever it takes, right? You can donate a car. Dayson drives like 40 kids around the city nonstop. This dude needs a reliable vehicle. Somebody donate him a car. Lewis, Chuck, and Ev and I, we need a home base to work out of. Somebody donate us a building. Quita's building. She wants to build these tiny villages for people experiencing homelessness, or just house city residents economically so that they can afford to thrive in tiny homes rather than a giant home, right? Like somebody donate a vacant. You feel me? Like we're out here doing the work and we're going to do it regardless. But if you don't know how to do the work or where it's being done, look around you, find the people who are doing it, and find a way to support them, because every little bit you give exponentially grows, right? Like for instance, I'm gonna share one thought with you. Like one of the partners for that we haven't mentioned tonight yet, as we're getting close to the end, was breadcoin.org, right? Breadcoin. We have 4 solid restaurants in the city. I need 40. What happens is I get coins, man. We get donations in the form of a coin. We give them out in the communities, but we can only give them out where restaurants will receive them, right? But what happens is if you donated $100 of bread coin, here's what happens, right? You donated $100, right? We'll say 85% of the money donated goes directly back towards the community. So I have $85, right? So the $85 I give to someone or a couple people, and they're able to go with dignity, go eat a hot meal for the day. They can go get whatever they want off the menu. So like the dude who's like getting the crappy boxes at the rec centers and the schools of like a bologna wrap, I can give him $50. He can go get a chicken shrimp Alfredo from like Island Cuisine for the day, and then have money left over to do it again another day, have a little dignity, enjoy really good food, right? So he's benefited from that $85. And then $85 is going towards a locally owned business, a black owned business, a minority owned business, a woman owned business, because that's what it looks like in Baltimore. We're not hitting chains up. I know Chick-fil-A will do it. I know Mission Barbecue will do it. But so will Giovanna's, so will Zella's, so will Miss Vicky's, so will, Terra Cafe. So now that $85 has helped someone get a meal and some dignity and giving them some hope. Then at $85 is buying food off the menu, supporting a small business. So now that $85 has just become $170 in value, right?
So yeah,
and then when they cash that out and they give it back to Breadcoin to get recirculated, now that $85 has also again been used in the community, serving the community. So now you've tripled the value of your donation, and you've also built relationships where someone who normally wouldn't walk into a restaurant. I'll give you an example. Last week, this young lady, Nikki, I call her Nikki Augusta because she is homeless. She's stuck in Baltimore and can't get back to Georgia. That's her hustle. She'll tell you I'm from Augusta. That's cool. And I'm building a relationship with her and having conversation to get to know her more and see how we can help her. But in the moment, I didn't have money for you, but I got a couple smokes. Always got a couple smokes on me for you. Smoked a cigarette, rapped for a little bit, gave her some bread coin. So I gave her like $25. I said, look, here's some money. You can go sit down, eat a pizza, and then have money left over to get something to go for later. She went down. She said, oh, Chat gave me these coins. Can I spend them here? Went down to Giovanna's, spent the money, sat down, ate a pizza, got herself something to go, came back the next day because she was good. She saved some money, come back the next day. Later on in that week, the owner, Mike, saw her begging for money at the gas station. Because of the bread coins, he knew her name. He remembered what she ordered. He gave her some cash to help her out and invited her back to the restaurant for a meal. So beyond the money, stimulating local economy, keeping our money in our, Black communities longer than 6 hours, feeding someone, and then, supporting a small business, we're also weaving the city together better. Because if she had not received the bread coin and had that experience, he would have walked right past her. He would have dehumanized her possibly by not acknowledging her as a person. You got some money? Nope. Like, get out my face. I'm just here to get gas. But he recognized who she was, knew her name, and offered more to her, extended the love that she originally got the first time she went, right? So programs like Breakcoin are valuable. Programs like PowerFest are valuable as we provide resources to the community. And on the flip side, we help nonprofits organize their stuff. Like, there's two sides of everything, right? Like your work with the youth, man, it speaks for itself, because I've met some of the youth that you've invested in, Chuck, and some of my youth, man. So something I wanted to, to transition to another thought and back up a little bit. When you were talking about the violence our kids experience, I'm gonna give you two testimonies, man. My man TJ and Tehran, y'all know the governor, TJ. Y'all met him. First time I met him, he said, I'm gonna be the governor one day. So there was a shooting over by his house, Cordelia and Garrison neighborhood, like 3 houses up, right? I got the word, as a chaplain, I got the word there's a shooting, this and that. So I called my mans. I'm like, TJ, you guys good? He's like, oh yeah, everybody, because it was on his block. And I was like, shoot, that might be my people's. Called him, called Miss Joseph, you guys good? Oh yeah, chap, we're good. Nah, somebody got shot 3 houses up. We're good. That's shouldn't be normal, right? Y'all know my man Savage. If y'all come to the parade, you're gonna see my man worked security last weekend for Lavelle Crawford, Big Wide Savage. His name's Elijah. We call him Savage. He's gonna be doing security for my man Lewis on Saturday, right? We're gaming, we're playing video games on the internet, and all of a sudden his little headset goes radio silent. And I'm like, so I called his mom. I'm like, yo, where's Elijah? What happened? You guys good? Elijah picks up. He's like, yeah, mom's in the base. We're in the basement right now. The house is getting shot up, but we're good. But we're good. Like, yo, that's not normal, but it's our normal. So I wanted to speak to that. Like, our kids are really affected by this, even if they don't realize they are. And then when he came upstairs, they all saw that there was a bullet hole above the playhouse where his little sister was playing. But they were all wise enough to get it together and get low. We had a family whose house was shot up, became a crime scene, and so the family was homeless for like 3 or 4 days with 6 kids, a mom with 6 kids, right? So, and what had happened was the break in the system where the police department has a victim advocate unit, but once you guys find and book somebody, then the state's attorney's victim advocate unit is supposed to take over. Well, there was a disconnect in communication. One thought one party was doing it, one assumed the other party was doing it. Meanwhile, the families left homeless calling me like, yo, I've been like, what do I do? And that's when I call into our tribe. I call Yolanda Pulley and I say, yo, Yolanda, we got the situation. Let's get on it. And when I tell you, like, I was shaking up trees, calling everybody, figuring out, I don't care who's to blame, but let's get these guys safe. She cussed me out. She said, stop calling people. I got this. Within 24 hours, she had 4-month voucher and a down payment and had them in 24 hours in an apartment. That's what she does. That's what people empowered by the struggle do, right? So I say those type of people, our type of people, our tribe, we're going to be out there. And I just need everybody to come just plug in with the tribe, man, because there's something for everybody. You may be in need right now. You won't always be. You may have something to give right now, but you might not always. But if we build this relationship and we weave this city together through our relationships, we're going to be all right. And I know that because I'm 44 years Baltimore, and I'll never have no money, but I'm the richest dude I know. You know what I'm saying? So I'll get off my soapbox. We got 5 minutes, guys, before Robert comes on. So Chuck, lead off with some parade notes again, and then Lewis just refresh us on what's on the festival, and then we'll get out of here so Robert can hit the screen.
You got it. Again, I just thank you guys for, Chat, Lou, and Ev in his absence, Donnie in his absence. I just thank you guys for, all of us coming together on one accord, putting things like, this together. It takes a lot. Stressful, takes a lot of energy, takes time, it takes unity. So I just first and foremost thank you guys for that sticking in there and doing what you do. Believe me, I don't take it for granted. You guys are a huge part of this. It's no one person, in putting this together. I just appreciate, your tireless nights, of doing what you do, your contacts, everyone you have called and, who's a part of this event, Battle of the Bands and Power Fest, so I just want to personally thank you for everything that you've done. I mean, I know, it's what you do, but personally, I appreciate you. I really do from the bottom of my heart. And this is what, the city needs, and I tell you, man, if we all could get and come on one accord, you know what I mean? We all can, put our personal agendas aside for the betterment of this city. This city will be a better place. You can't tell me different, but as we can see, you got to start somewhere. It starts somewhere, and I believe it's starting with us. We all have to be change breakers. We got to change the script, and we're doing it, one event at a time. So again, I can't thank you guys enough for all that you have done, and phenomenal, phenomenal. You know, great is your reward. Great is your reward. So I'll stop right there.
All right, Lou, give us the details on the parade, the festival. Let's inform the people before we get out of here, and then you can have the last word.
Great. I just want to say thank you, Quita. Thank you, chat, for being on here every Monday night. Let me tell you something. Anybody who's listening, if you have not seen the Baltimore bands go at it, you're missing a treat. So you got to come down there for that. Parade starts at 11 a.m. at Pier 6, and then it goes around the entire harbor, past the Harbor Place and past the Science Center and ends at Rash Field. That's when they really gonna get funky, but they'll be doing it throughout the whole walk. And then also at 11 o'clock on Rash Field, Power Fest starts as well. It's gonna be food trucks, it's going to be car show, it's going to be a kid zone, it's going to be vendors, and also many services for everybody. Come out 11 a.m. to Rashfield or Pier 6. It's going to be a good time. Oh, any more information about the parade or parade route, or even who's going to take the stage, go to powerfestbaltimore.org, click on the parade Battle of the Bands tab for the Battle of the Bands information and parade route, or you can click on the tab for the festival.
Yes, and if you guys want to get plugged in, if you got performers, you got a marching band that isn't plugged in yet, get them plugged in. If you got performers want to hit the stage, get them plugged in. We got to hit K-Sal up. K-Sal's got some performers for us, so that's our next step for us.
Nice.
I'm waiting to forget you, Miss Kim. We love you so much for your support. And when you click on the tabs at powerfestbaltimore.org, you'll have our personal contact information. So get plugged in. If you have a community vendor that the community needs, we need to get resources out to them. They can email us and get the information there. All the information is there to get plugged into us if you have any questions. So just check out the site. In the least, come see us on Saturday and just be a part of Baltimore's beautiful Black history. We're making history. It's the first inaugural, first of many, Battle of the Bands.
Rain or shine.